Hello, I am Miss Beebe, and this is my screencast on simplifying radicals. First, we will begin by identifying our symbols. This is the radical sign, and you may recognize it as the symbol that means to take the square root of the number inside. Now, the number inside is called the radicand. We also need to know our perfect squares. This is a list of the first 15 perfect squares, not including the number 1. Also, to help us simplify radicals is the product property of radicals. This may sound confusing, so I'll try to explain it. The product property of radicals states that the square root of a product equals the product of the square roots of the factors. Or in other words, radical A times B is equal to radical A times radical or square root B. I will use the words radical and square root interchangeably throughout my presentation. Now, if we have radical 50, for example, we're going to split this up into 2 radicals, and we're going to choose factors of 50. The first factor we choose must be a perfect square. So in this case, we have to use 25 because it's the only perfect square that divides into 50 evenly. So if we use 25, that means our other factors too. When we simplify from this step, we're going to take the square root of 25. Square root of 25 equals 5, and radical 2 stays the same. We cannot simplify radical 2 because it's an irrational number. And that makes our answer 5 radical 2. Now it can get complicated, as in the case of radical 72. Now when we go to split up radical 72, you'll notice we have 2 perfect squares that will divide into it evenly. They're 9 and 36. When this happens, you make sure to take the largest perfect square that you can. So we're going to take radical 36, which leaves us with a radical 2. Square root of 36 is 6, and radical 2 stays the same as it did before. So this is our answer for radical 72. Now if we were to use radical 9, we would arrive at the same answer, but it would take more steps. When we use radical 9, our other factor is radical 8. This will simplify to 3 radical 8, but radical 8 needs to be simplified further. Our perfect square for radical 8 is 4, and our other factor will be 2. Square root of 4 is 2, and radical 2 stays the same as always. Now we also have the 3 up here to think about, so that's going to come down with the 2, and because they're right next to each other, it means we're multiplying them. 3 times 2 is 6, and with the radical 2. And there we have the same answer, but with more steps, and this is a lot more confusing than this one here. Thank you for watching my screen.